Trading new players might be dead. For a long time in the crypto space, a lot of people have grown sick and tired of PvPs and rug pulls. So a lot of the volume right now is going in a direction that you might not have noticed. And this is older aged tokens. It's not just me saying this. In fact, White Whale, the person who has made hundreds of millions of dollars leverage trading, stepped into the meme coin space and made one of the biggest tokens in the meme coin space, has also said the same thing. Now, if you actually read this tweet, he actually says, so what is the data? A flurry of replies asking the same question, as well as a flurry of replies calling me an idiot for making a statement that the narrative doesn't matter as much as people think it does. That's true. We've all probably seen, I'm sure you guys have seen it before, where you buy a token, you think the narrative is amazing, this is the future of technology, it's going so viral, yet token doesn't really actually run. He says, my way makes me money. If your way makes you money, there is nothing wrong with it. No need to change. I simply choose to enter trades based on the vibes. I'll now give a real life example referenced in the last post. The coin was DFM that I identified at 250k market cap. And I still don't even know what the coin is about. It doesn't really matter. I got in at 250k and got out 4 million because of the data. It's now at 1 million at the time of writing this. Volume is dying and the bots are leaving, and liquidity is still thin air. Shorts are the new data catalyst. In my opinion, it's dead. My method is really simple. You have a better method? Maybe I'm retarded. Save some of you from saying it. But this method has worked for me and I'm able to obtain an 80% win rate on low market cap memes. I happen to be proud of that number. For screening, he uses GMGN. He doesn't trade there, but he says it's some better screening tools, which I think is very true as well. I think that the features which I'm about to show you is not available anywhere else. I'm not dissing any other platforms, but the features just aren't there. You can go check it for yourself. Same features I'm about to show you just don't exist, right? These are his filters. So he has no mint, burnt, no blacklist, market cap 250k, and a volume on the 5 minute at 9k. Okay. And then he explains a little bit more about why he decided to pick this, right? Now, when it comes to this trending page, this you can actually find the links in the description for GMGN. And if you go to the trending page, you'll find it right here. This trending page is fully custom built. There's a lot of things added to this page which ain't available anywhere else. For starters, you have a full list of filters where you can filter by exchanges, like obviously launch pads. You can also add a bunch of different metrics as well. And you can actually sort by age based on seconds, minutes, hours, and days. You can't do that on any other platform. Any other platform, I think it's either just hours and you have to put like 100 hours, etc. Or it's just days. You can't filter by days or hours. And you have a bunch of filters here. I'm going to show you my filters in a minute. But let me just explain to you why this is so interesting for me and why it's been something which even when Snowball and a lot of these tokens I'm about to show you, this trending page wasn't actually at the level which it's at now. So let's start off with Snowball, right? If you actually look at Snowball, the tech here was actually quite interesting. You can see Snowball itself, not only did it take 2 days before it really started to go, it launched on the 19th, didn't run till the 21st. So you're not going to see that if you're just in the trenches. If you're just in the trenches, you're not going to be able to see that. And that's why a lot of new traders, including myself when I first started, we rely on the wallet tracking. That's where the copy trading segment came from. A lot of times, when it came to older tokens, you only ever find older tokens if you're in Discord groups and Telegram groups, or if you see another wallet buy it, then it piques your interest. You never really see it on the migrated section. The migrated section only goes up to 2 or 3 days, but also you only see a very limited amount of tokens, and it's very messy. And quite frankly, in my opinion, it's overwhelming on this side. You don't really know where everything's going. But on the trending page, you have the ability to filter by different volume areas. So you can sort trending on the 5 minute, 1 hour, 6 hours. So for example, if you're trenching, like quite well mentioned, I'll go over in a second, but you trench from the 5 minute. If you're looking at longer term, you go to the 24-hour, for example. But for Snowball, as you can see, it runs like this. Many of you guys know I like the 786 strategies isn't going to be about that. But yes, you can see that it bounces off the 886 pretty much and then runs up to wherever it ran up to. Okay, again, for other tokens, for example, Rosie, right? Rosie even though it had a huge run to 2.3 million, it was forgotten about, literally for completely forgotten about, picks up volume on the third day, and then runs to about 2 million. Now, obviously, this here was the main catalyst when it had the tweet, I think got mentioned by Elon Musk, something like this, but it still picked up a lot of volume before. And this type of reclaim is something that can pique your interest. It happens a lot in major markets. For example, Hyperliquid had a reclaim over here before going on a huge run. Reclaims are very, very important. We've even seen it with Tau as well. Tau has a nice reclaim as well before going on a nice run. I'll show you the actual chart here. Tau, you can see Tau reclaim before going on a nice run. It happens, meme coins, altcoins, whatever, right? Reclaims are super important. Okay, you're not going to spot them on anything else. Again, Jelly Bean, right? We made $8,300 on Jelly Bean. Jelly Bean, it was very similar. You actually see over here, Jelly Bean, it was multi-days old, in fact, almost a month old, and then picks up huge amounts of volume and runs up to a few mil. In fact, it picks up volume again, goes from 300K to about 3 million, so about 10x, right? And again, it has a few other small moves and small runs. And these runs are important because they make money. Distorted, right? Distorted, even though I actually lost money on this, it didn't go too well. You can actually see that from the lower areas, it traded very well. In fact, it's gone from 700K to 1.4 million 3 times, right? Lucky number 7, right? This the recent token. This is one which is in a similar position, right? I suspect that the 7 probably going to come down to 500K, range between here, and just trade in this nice range, right? I actually put some limit orders on this down here. Okay, and that's kind of like how I like to look at meme coins nowadays, is looking at the lows, because I generally think, especially for majors, if they're tokens which are going to run, going to go to a few million, like this, for example, ABCD, actually cheated this very early, but you can see that it's gone from 100K to 1.4 mil multiple times. And again, like what Will says, and I'm starting to agree, actually it doesn't matter about the narratives, right? It doesn't matter about the narratives. A long time I think, oh, narrative's dead. But you can actually see here, multiple times, these tokens are doing extremely well, okay? Triple T, similar situation, right? Similar scenario. You can actually see Triple T right now, topped out at 3.5 mil. But you're not going to see this on the new pairs section. It's 28 days old, but it's still maintaining a lot of volume, a lot of volatility. Chud, another one, right? Chud is years old, about 2 years old, and is recently picking up volume. Wojak, if you actually look at Wojak and how Wojak ran, you can see that Wojak after a few days dips down from 63 million to 30 million and runs back up to 53 million. And again, is in a similar scenario where now you might end up having a second leg just for a small gain, okay? Barking Puppy, again, same thing. Barking Puppy's at 886, had another bounce. Lobster was a great one. If you actually look at Lobster, Lobster again, 886, up to the 0.5. Copper Inu again, an interesting one, which can do very, very well. Testicle is an insane one. I actually doubted Testicle at the 886, but you can see again, it's running towards the 0.5. Neat, again, amazing run for Neat, runs up to about 32 million. And this is why, for me, guys, the story for trading meme coins is starting to move a long way away from new pairs, almost migrated and bonding, to a different strategy of trading older tokens. It may take 2, 3, some days, sometimes even a week for these tokens to gain volume, but when they do, your risk to reward is a lot better, in my opinion, than new pairs. The thing is, it's like White Whale says, and I completely agree with it. If you have a new pair strategy and it works for you, it works for you. But for many people, it doesn't. And they don't have the time or capabilities, or some stages even the tech. You know, you want to be trading on 2 monitors with a Discord VC open to get the comms just so you don't get rugged. But when you trade older tokens, you don't need all of that information. You can rely on yourself. You can just simply trade the volatility on these older tokens. Now, I actually have a list of filters, and I'm going to be giving it away for my Discord for free. And these filters are for my personal strategy of the 786 and the 886. Now, for example, I like to look at tokens which are on a huge dip. So we mentioned 7, right? Now through my filters, I like to sort my filters like this. So for example, my all-time high is below 3 mil, right? So it had to have gone around about 3 to 7 mil. And then I'm looking for an 80% correction. This will flag on my list. You can see 7 right here. In fact, I'm going to buy a small amount. Okay. You can actually see that now it's on its 80% correction. I'll trade this level. I'll trade this level. Okay. Because this for me is a simply better risk to reward. Now it's going to look a little bit messy because I've got a bunch of like limit orders and whatnot on there. But remove these. Right. You can actually see that this area for me, just in terms of risk to reward, is a lot better than buying these levels here. A lot of times when it's hype, these levels are super strong. Okay, but with my filters, I'm able to see that. Okay. Another thing, when it comes to smaller tokens, I can go down here and say, okay, anything that's touched 400k to 800k, that's at 40k, for example, I can go ahead and I can look at something like this, right? And the list goes on. So if you do want these filters, you can check out the link in the description. You can join my Discord for free. You can grab these filters. But in my opinion, that's the best way for trading meme coins right now. Older tokens, age tokens. If you look at the bear market with things like Pepe and Brett, these are the types of tokens which are multi-days, weeks, and sometimes even months old. And they just simply have a better risk to reward. And they're the ones in the next cycle, when we get there after October, where we're going to see massive gains in them. I don't think until we see these major runners, which really break the ceilings of the hundreds of millions, that new pairs trading is going to be a very, very good strategy for most people, especially new people. If you appreciate this video, let me know in the comments. If you have your own strategies, let me know down below. I'd be interested to hear out your guys' opinions. And make sure to subscribe because I'm live every single day using this strategy and trading meme coins as well. Appreciate you guys. I'll see you in the next one.